Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you exactly how I do my everyday makeup, and along the way I'm also going to be answering a few of your questions or addressing the assumptions that you guys made about me in the little questionnaire that I put on my Instagram the other day. Let's do it. Okay, let's get started. I cleansed with my Ultra Balancing Gel Cleanser by Ultraceuticals. Then I just used some Ultra B2 Hydrating Serum. And then after that's kind of absorbed, I'll use sunscreen. Now, I don't actually use a primer. I just whip on the sunscreen and then I give my face a couple sprays of MAC Fix Plus. And that's it. I don't actually use a traditional primer. The first thing that I'll do is I will put on eyeshadow base onto my eyelids. So the one I'm using is the NARS, what is this? Tinted Smudge-Proof Eyeshadow Base, and this is good. So before this, I wasn't really using any eyeshadow base and I didn't feel the need, but then one of the girls at Sephora was just like, do you use an eyeshadow base? And I said, no, and she goes, why don't you try this out because it'll make your color last long. And yeah, it was a good vouch because it definitely lasts all day now. A little bit here, a little bit here. And I just smudge it in with my fingers. Do I look like a gypsy with these earrings? So I've got my eyeshadow base on, and usually I will actually let that settle for a bit and move on to brows and come back to eyeshadow. My eyebrow routine is probably the opposite of Gucci. I just use the Anastasia Beverly Hills little eyebrow pencil, and I use a MAC eyeshadow, and the color is called Embark. Give my brush a couple of sprays, dry off any of the excess on a little bit of tissue paper, and then, I don't know, dig right in to the eyeshadow. From there, I just grab the same tissue paper and kind of, I guess, sandwich the brush in and remove a bit of excess. So I've just got a small amount and then go to town. Okay, so I don't have to go too heavy-handed because I actually have my eyebrows tattooed. But yeah, just a little lighter, obviously in the inner brow. Brush it out. And then I also do keep, where is it? I don't know where it is though. So I'll just quickly do the other brow. Okay, so just for any sparse areas that might need a little extra color, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in dark brown. So I'll just fill in up here. I have super sparse brows, so if you guys have any little home remedies for lack of brow hair, please let me know. So I thought just to keep things interesting, I would answer a couple questions. So I popped a questionnaire on Insta and I said either ask me a question or make an assumption about me and I would address it. First one is from, I don't know how to say this, HBE Tonio. What inspired you to get into lifting? Do you have anybody that inspires you? What got me into lifting was probably my dad because he's always been into fitness, and I just one day decided I want to come with you to the gym. From then on, it kind of stuck and I never really wavered from it. I've always been into fitness since then, and that would have been around when I was like 15, I want to say. Okay, so just to clean up the brows, I've got a little, I don't know what brand this is. I believe it is Morphe, but just a very, very flat, angled, thin brush that I'm going to coat with Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in the color Pale. I switch between pale and light pale, just depending on, I guess, how tan I am. So I'll coat that with the excess on my tissue paper and just go underneath to clean up any rough edges. Okay, so we'll address these again later. All right, so next step, we can finally go back to the eyes. I'm using at the moment the Painted Desert Artistry palette by Morphe, and this bad boy is 18 Aussie dollars. I'm probably gonna stick with this for a while. The only two main colors that I'll wear are a burnt orange or like a dark burgundy red, and they are right here. So this brush is the Morphe something, and I'm just gonna grab this very neutral color and dust up here, but also just try to blend out that concealer from before when I was doing my brows. I really like orange. I'll grab another Morphe brush. This one's just a little bit more tightly packed or condensed down, but they're very similar. And I'll tap into this orange color here, a little bit of excess on my tissue, and just go to town. What works for me is just having one solid color. I don't do like a transition from like a neutral into like a brown into a darker brown. I just literally sweep my whole lid with this orange color. Okay, another question. Here is Saucy One. You just have good genetics. Obviously some people are blessed with, I guess, the right genetic makeup when it comes to things like bodybuilding goals or even like lifting. You know, some people are in a better place biomechanically to lift better. You know, you might have longer arms, but hard work trumps all. Still going with my orange. I carry it up fairly high because once I apply the eyeliner and I actually look ahead, a lot of it dissipates into my eyelid because, you know, Asian eyes. So yeah, I'll carry it quite high. And then maybe grab some micellar water or even MAC Fix Plus and wipe off any of the excess on your under eye. I always do eyes before my foundation. So some people will go for foundation first, but I just find it's a little bit neater because you can get rid of all of that excess. Okay, so from there, I will grab my lashes, and the lashes that I've been using for the last 3-4 years are House of Lashes in the style Boudoir. I purchase the full length, and then when I open them up, I'll just trim the sides so that it fits my eye shape. And this is an amazing lash style for Asian eyes or almond eyes. I highly, highly recommend them. Got my lashes. I've been already wearing these for a week now, and I kind of like the worn-in look. I'll probably, like one set of lashes will last me a good month. Apply the House of Lashes Lash Adhesive, and I'll let it sit over here and get a little bit tacky. So the key to applying false lashes is you need the glue to get a little sticky, otherwise it's just gonna slip and slide everywhere. So I'm gonna forget about it and let it dry over there. While I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm going to apply my liquid eyeliner. And the liquid eyeliner I'm using, I'll list all of this by the way in the description, is D Up Silky Liquid Eyeliner in jet black, I guess. This I've only been able to find in Japan. If you can get your hands on this, you're one lucky gal. Okay. I'm just going to shorten the tail of this one because it's a bit longer. So I'll grab that same flat concealer brush from before and remove a bit. There we go. So I've got my little tails, and then I draw from outwards in. You don't have to nail it on the first go, like, I need to tidy this one up a bit. Then I've kind of, like, you can see I've done like the half end, and I'll start from the inside out. How are we looking? Looking good. All right, they're not perfectly even, but once you apply the lashes, you can't even tell. Doesn't need to be perfect, guys. Okay, so lashes are quite tacky now, which is perfect. Grab them with your tweezers. Okay, this will be on the left side. Find a sticking point. I usually start from the inner, and because they're tacky, it's just easy to stamp down, like segment by segment. Okay, maybe it's time for another question. Eyes are done. Amanda asks, when are you getting married? Don't know. Maybe next year. It's not really on my mind at the moment. Like, I'm excited, don't get me wrong. Okay, so it's foundation time. I have been using NARS Sheer Glow for as long as I can remember, and the color I'm on now is Stromboli. If it's summer, I might use Barcelona, I believe, but yeah, Stromboli is my current shade. I'm gonna pump it onto just this little, I don't know what you'd call this, but I got it from MAC. Just a few pumps. I've got a damp beauty blender that I'm gonna use just to bounce it on my skin. And something I've found with nailing your foundation base is like, if I were to just swab that all on the beauty blender and apply it, versus if I just do light layers, even though it's the same amount, it looks a lot better if you just apply it layer by layer. It's a little more time consuming, but it's definitely worth it. You Noser wants to know how old I am. I am 27. Lisa Toe 1991 asks, when did you start to see major changes in your physique? Any tips and tricks? The most noticeable changes was definitely when I started training with my fiance back when I was like 22, maybe. I guess one of my tips would be don't be afraid to eat, but eat right. Another tip would be as well as, actually this is a big one, follow a program. Even if you can't purchase or have a coach to write your program, write yourself one and follow it, rather than just stepping into the gym and kind of being like, yeah, I'll do this and then I might do that machine and this. It makes a big difference. Whew. I like the foundation base. Okay, almost there. Okay, so foundation is just about done. And next step, concealer. Back with my Instant Age Rewind in Pale. I'm just going to dot it. I'm sure you guys have seen this a million times before. Under eye. Up the bridge of the nose. I don't really do anywhere else, I just do nose spots. And then give the other side of the Beauty Blender a spray, so the untouched side. Give it a pat. And just bounce away at the skin again to blend it in. Okay, so that's all blended in. For contour, I actually use a foundation stick. This is the Hourglass Vanish foundation stick in the color Walnut. It's quite dark, and I'll just apply a little bit here on my jawbone. A little here on my forehead, and then for the cheeks, I actually apply it back onto the Beauty Blender and stamp it on. I do mine a bit higher. I think it just suits my face shape a bit more, like so. And then I'm going to grab this Morphe brush. They don't label it. It looks like this. And buff away at it. I've got another question. Christina Bia asks, what do you do for work? So at the moment, I'm not really working because all the gyms in Australia are temporarily closed. But at the time, I was working on reception there and studying my Cert 3 and 4 to eventually start personal training out of the gym that I work at, which I was super excited for, but little hiatus on that for now. With the contour here, I kind of have a different approach and I stamp at it rather than, stroking or blending up and down. And I was really lucky enough to be given this brush set from my friend Z because they're so soft. Like, you'd think that kind of intentionally poking your face might, cause breakouts, but these brushes are super, super soft. So ever since I started using these, I've been a lot more comfortable with the whole stamping motion. Okay, so it's starting to come together. When I reach this point, I then go for this brush, and this is a different brand. I think it's Zoeva. Yeah, it is. And what I'll use it for is just like the final buff. So switching from a much more like densely packed one, whereas this one was a little bit fluffier, just to like concretize everything. Is that a word? My nose contour, I actually use a different product. I use the Benefit Hoola bronzer, so it's a powder bronzer, and I grab this random ass brush by God knows who, I think it's Sephora, and tap it in there. Tap the excess onto my tissue paper, and I'll do the bottom, like the little button part of my nose first, and I like to do a flat line. Some people kind of like angle it. I think it suits me more to do like a flat line at the bottom, and then up the sides of the bridge of my nose, and actually going up in towards like the corner of my eye. Zip, eyes, like so. And then go back in with this brush and buff it out. Okay, final step, bring it all in together with the Beauty Blender. I'm using the foundation side from the very beginning, by the way, just to seal it all in. Once I've reached this point, and I've done my foundation, concealer, and bronzer, flip my beauty blender to the side that I blended out my concealer, and just go again, just to remove any creases that might have popped up between then and now. And grab Mercier translucent setting powder, tap a little bit into the lid, still damp, apply it under the eyes, down the nose, and like in the corners too, and really get every little crevice. And I'll also actually do just on the sides here for a little bit more definition, I guess. And up here because I get super oily in my T-zone. Now, the face foundation powder that I use is M.A.C, and it's NC35 Studio Fix powder. I'm just gonna buff this little area here because it didn't really have any translucent powder to begin with. And the blush, I use a lot of M.A.C. The blush that I use is the color Peaches, and I also use Melba. So Peaches if I want like a bit more of an obvious blush, Melba if I want something really subdued, like I would wear it to a wedding. And I've got this brush here, tap it in. I apply my blush a little bit higher on the cheekbones, and I got that tip off of a girl called Amanda on Instagram, which maybe I will put down here as well because her makeup is amazing. I draw it out as well. Now, I think that's enough setting time. I'm gonna start dusting away the setting powder with my powder brush that's already got the face powder on it. So I'm kind of dusting away, but also applying like a thin layer of face powder. Okay, so finishing touches, we've just got highlighter, lips, that's it really. From there, I do the inner eye highlight, and what I'm going to use is just the little golden bottom left color on that Morphe palette, and then also top it up with the Balm Merry Loumanizer, which is my favorite highlight in the world, and do the corners of my eye. You could also do like under your brow bone too if you want, and then down the bridge of my nose as well, and I'll just use my finger. Okay, so one last question. It's from Baby Advi, and she asks, when did an active lifestyle begin clicking for you? I'm so intimidated to begin. I didn't start clicking for a good few years. Like, I was that person in the gym who was extremely intimidated and thought everyone was staring at me and kind of twiddling my fingers around and just like didn't know how to stand. The more you educate yourself on how to execute exercises, the more confident you'll feel, because you know you've got that backing you. Like, I understand why and how to perform this movement. So if you just do more research into that, you'll immediately start feeling more confident in the gym. Now I'm all dry and matte. I'm going to spray myself with M.A.C Fix Plus Spray. Pull once over. And the first coating of highlight, I use Laura Mercier Face Illuminator in Devotion. And this color, I just use here, Cupid's bow, a little bit on my chin. And then I'll go in with this fanned brush and use the Balm Merry Loumanizer again, just up here. For my under eye, I just use an eyeliner pencil. And this one's from Japan. The brand is Kiss Me. Ooh. I don't usually do mascara or under eye mascara. I'll just grab my liquid eyeliner and I guess color in any bits that might have gone a little bit white from the translucent powder, but I don't apply any mascara. One more spray. Okay, lips, and we are done. At the moment, for my little lip routine, I'm using MAC Spice lip liner, and then the Mecca MAC, so Mecca Cosmetica, like their branded lip liner in the color Chic. And that was just because the color I usually use is sold out online, and that's Subculture in MAC. Oops. So start with a dark color. What is it again? Spice. And from there onto the lighter shade, Chic, Chic, Chic. I'm just gonna grab my concealer brush because it's a bit uneven. Be good. And finally, I just like to dab a little bit of super light lipstick into the center. I feel like it makes your lips look a little bit bigger. And this color is by MAC, and it's called Bit of Bubbly. Alright, so we are all done. I hope you enjoyed watching my little everyday glam. This is the makeup that I do every day. It looks a little bit more glam now, I think, because I've done my hair. But yeah, this is essentially my everyday look. I hope you really, really liked it. And if you're interested in a follow-up or even like a skincare routine, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. See you guys next time.